Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's episode of Ask Leah. Tonight's question came from someone who has to deliver quite an important presentation to a community group for their work. And they're freaking out a bit because they're worried that they're going to get asked questions that they either don't know the answer to or they're not allowed to answer. And they contacted me to say, what do I do, Leah? How do I prepare for this? I don't want to look like I don't know what I'm doing, but the reality is I will not have all of the answers that they want. Couple of tips here. I've been in this boat many times myself over the years. The first tip is this. Before the presentation, well before the presentation, do an activity with either a colleague or someone who is similar to the people who are going to be in your audience. And do an activity called Q&A sparring. Sparring as if you're preparing for a boxing match. Because here's the thing, you should never walk into a presentation or a conversation thinking to yourself, geez, I hope they don't ask me that. Because you can almost guarantee that that is the question that someone is going to fire at you. So, well ahead of time, ask a colleague or someone similar to the audience you're going to be speaking to do their worst. Throw the curliest questions at you. Say to them, here's what I'm presenting on. If you were in the audience, what would you want to know? And draw all of those questions out. Write them down if you need to. Now, the purpose of this exercise is not to freak yourself out. Rather, it's to be able to look at the questions and go, righto, if I get asked that question, how am I going to answer it? That might mean you need to do some research, get some answers from other departments in your organisation, or it might mean you need to come up with a key message response. And that is my second tip. You may get asked questions you don't know the answer to, and rather than fumble and stumble, or even worse, make it up and actually say something that's not correct, you want to have a key message, broken record response that you can roll out. It might be something along the lines of, that is a great question and I want to make sure that I give you the most accurate answer available. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take that question on notice, check the facts and get back to you. Now, if you say that in the presentation, the absolute key there is you do have to get back to them. So make sure you have a discussion about how you're going to follow up. But that's something I used to have to do all the time. I was a communications officer on a world first water project that was really, really technical, and I was the comms person, and I would always have engineers in the audience throwing really hard questions at me. And rather than fumble and stumble or get embarrassed and say, oh, I'm so sorry, I don't know the answer to that, with confidence, I would roll out that key message. Great question. I want to make sure I have the accurate information for you. So I'm going to take that back to the office and speak to one of the engineers, and then I'll be in touch with that answer. So Q&A sparring, key message, broken record for if you get a question that you can't answer so you can respond with confidence, and you will nail this presentation. I know you're good at what you do, and I have no doubt in your success. If you have a communication, leadership, soft skill, people skill, self-management question you would like answered, please do send it through. I love answering them each week, and I will do my best to answer your question next episode. Cheers.